In terms of macro and micro issues that I faced during my time at school, I was not directly affected, but my best friend was, and this was a very life-changing experience for me. She had a disability which made her walk with a sort of limp, and it made her stand out from the crowd. I learned a lot by being by her side for 6 years. She faced plenty of discrimination, as lots of people stared at her, laughed at her, and asked questions about her. I also noticed how little is provided for people with a disability in the real world, such as ramps and disabled parking. I also realised that not many people thought of cultural capital when they first looked at her. They thought of what she couldn't offer the world rather than what she could. She played a huge role in our local community as well as a school environment in activities such as musicals, which people would not know as they just didn't give her the time of day, dismissing her as a disabled person as soon as meeting her. Being given the opportunity to observe my friend's life with a disability taught me not to take anything for granted and to care less about what people thought of me.
So what I found from my high school experience was that in my school, the same as a lot of schools I'm sure, that people split into groups or cliques. And just like in American movies, there was always that cool group or that popular group. And what I found in high school was that this popular group actually got a lot more opportunities than people that weren't in this group, which made me kind of think like if your social status actually played a role in the amount of power you had in high school. So there weren't really big instances to draw from to see where popularity became power, but rather just small little instances like our leadership roles where they were voted on by students, and a lot of the time the people that got the roles, the leadership roles, were just the people that were most known, the name that was most known, which just shows how popularity equaled power a lot of that time in high school.
Alice Pung's novel Growing Up Asian in Australia is an anthology written from the perspective of multiple Asian Australians. This narrative is my personal submission towards that novel through the character April, who depicts my sociological experiences at school, which in many ways is similar to the stories of the writers featured in Pung's novel. April goes through a range of different sociological experiences. She struggles with her cultural identity as her mother is a Filipino immigrant and her father is of British ethnicity. But with his passing, her household is predominantly influenced by her Filipino culture, which isn't really represented at school. And thus she goes through the motions of racism, cultural identity, etc. She experiences different social structures at school, from popularity groups to high-achieving academic groups, and then she goes through different experiences between moving from a public school to a private school. As a result of her various encounters with different social, cultural, and economic situations that affect her and the others around her, she develops a strong sociological imagination. Thank you.
Is there a hidden curriculum in your school?
The hidden curriculum at my both high school and primary school was that popularity kind of became power. So for leadership roles, they were voted on by the students. So if you were more popular, you were much more likely to get a leadership role. So that's how power came into play with that.
With my experience, my friend had a disability, and the hidden curriculum that I learned from her was to care less about what people thought about you and just be yourself.
Was there any teacher throughout your school life that catered for the different sociological needs of each student, and what did they do to cater?
In PE in particular, my PE teacher was like very good at catering for my disabled friend's needs. He always changed the activities of the class so that she was able to do it, when the other PE teachers just made her sit on the sidelines. So
yeah, mine was more like teachers kind of splitting up, so there wasn't so much of a cliquiness in each of the groups, cliquiness of the group, so yeah, it's the teachers in each different class, in PE and English and everything, not just having one group because they're really close, but splitting every person up.
Do you recall a time where there was a national change or a global change that affected your school? Or something outside of school affected it?
I would say when they had the gay right to marry thing, a lot of people came out as who they really are and weren't afraid to express themselves. celebrated, and we had a lot of like days to celebrate that.
So your school supported it?
Yeah, a lot.
Because going to a Catholic school, it was a bit different. But I wasn't in school at the time it came out. But I remembered we had like a debating class, and I went to one, and like I stopped going because there was a teacher, and one of the debating questions that they wanted to ask was like, should gay marriage be legal or not? And our teacher was just like, we're a Catholic school, so you already know the answer.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, and I was like, that's a bit rude, you know, because you don't know what everybody in the room is feeling. Have you noticed any classmates' virtual school bag and how they differentiate from your own?
We definitely had a group that was like separate because of their culture.
Yeah.
So it was like the typical Asian smart group.
We had that too.
Yeah, like there was a lot of groups in my school, and I think it's easier to identify with people who are the same like cultural background
Yeah,
as you,
definitely.
or like you find something because you bond with people over similarities. So in my school, it was like really big. It was like all the Caucasian people, the Asian people, and then like, you know, all the other cultures, and they were all in groups, and you couldn't really socialize with other groups, and then they would fight each other as well, and they would just call each other's groups by the race that they, or the ethnicity that they went by.
What did your school do to accommodate for different cultures, such as Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders?
My school, we did, like at the start of assemblies and stuff, we have the teachers say, and we acknowledge the Aboriginal people of this land.
Mine was the same actually. Like we did acknowledge them during assemblies, like before we just say acknowledgements. We learned about it in primary school and high school, but like I honestly don't think I remember that. Like I didn't retain all that much about their culture, like only bits and pieces. But we're relearning it again for one of our units, so that's pretty interesting. Okay, well I think like, you know, they accommodated like Harmony Day.
Oh,
Yeah, we had a Harmony
that's
Day,
awesome.
yeah, and that was like really, they celebrated all the different cultures those days.
But even in like history, we learn about every single other country in the world, but we didn't learn about our own history, about Aboriginals and stuff. Yeah.
What are your experiences with cultural capital?
Like I wrote in my story, my friend had a disability, and but people only saw, like they didn't think of cultural capital when they saw her. They only saw that she was disabled, and once that label was put on her, they thought she couldn't offer the world anything. Even though she was like really smart, she got into the accelerated program, she was in local choir, she was in the musical. So yeah, they didn't think of cultural capital when they thought of her, when she could actually like provide so much to the world.